You ever play a game so wild, so jaw-droppingly epic, that you just sit there, controller in hand, questioning reality? Like, wait, did I just sword fight a vampire on top of a spaceship while time traveling back to the 1800s? Yeah, that kind of wild. Hey folks, welcome back to the place where pixels punch harder than reality. And today, we're diving into 20 games that will absolutely blow your mind. I'm talking about the kind of games that melt your brain with visuals, break the rules of storytelling, and casually invent new genres like it's no big deal. These aren't just pretty good games. These are pause to collect yourself because what just happened kind of experience it. Whether you're into open world chaos, deep emotional gut punches, or games that just make you feel like a god with a controller, trust me, there's something in here that'll have your jaw on the floor. And listen, I've played a lot of games, probably too many. My sleep schedule has filed a restraining order, but these are the ones that made me go, okay, that's different. So grab your snacks, mute the group chat, and buckle up, because we're about to take a wild ride through 20 games that don't just entertain, they blow your freaking mind. Let's go. Starfield is Bethesda's gigantic leap into space exploration. Imagine Skyrim in the stars, but instead of dragons, you have space pirates, aliens, and your own customizable starship. You can hop from New Atlantis, think futuristic Seattle, to a neon cyber city to a dusty Martian outpost, hundreds of planets to explore. Polygon noted hubs like a Wild West-esque Aquila city and an enormous corporate utopia, each a unique theme park on its planet. The freedom is the killer feature. You deck out your character with cyber limbs, hire crew from taverns, loot derelict stations, and yes, take selfies with space cows. Gameplay ranges from first-person shootouts on Mars' red deserts to lounging in a zero-gravity bar while jamming the guitar. It can be overwhelming, the map is enormous, but think of it as endless sandbox for sci-fi fans. It isn't perfect. Reviewers pointed out many empty planets, but the scale is mind-blowing. If you've ever wanted to literally sail through the stars and build your own interstellar adventure, Starfield delivers that cosmic sandbox with both hands. Stray is probably the most adorable Cyberpunk game ever, because you play as a cat. Yes, a real tabby cat prowling a neon-soaked, dystopian city of robots. The premise alone had reviewers smiling. It's a touching tale of furry survival. You'll jump on crates, sip milk from bathtubs, and use your claws to traverse pipes, all while being super sneaky. It feels like a living Studio Ghibli-esque cartoon, where your paws are the only controllers. Critics praised Stray's graphic design. The walled city levels, inspired by Kowloon, are among the most beautifully creepy around, neon signs reflecting off rusty walls and moody rain in the slums. The AI bots you meet are funny too. There's even a tiny drone sidekick. Stray isn't an all-action game. It's about exploration and puzzles from Kitty's eye view, but it nails atmosphere. In fact, one called it a stunning place to just exist in. It's weird, soulful, and strangely cathartic. Honestly, who hasn't thought, yep, I'd make a great cat ninja? This one's a blockbuster cinematic sequel. Imagine the most polished zombie apocalypse ever. Naughty Dog delivered a brutal, poignant, beautiful, and thrilling experience. The story hurdles you through a gorgeously detailed post-pandemic Pacific Northwest, mossy Seattle malls, sun-dappled snowy woods, and eerie Santa Barbara beaches. Every surface is so realistic you can see rust and grime. The devs even spent time on every wrinkle during motion capture. And damn, it's brutal. You go from sneaking past clicker zombies to brutal boss duels. Hey there, giant golf club zombie lady, all while narrative twists yank your heart around. Graphically, it's almost too real. You'll feel like you could just reach out and touch those trees or wet sneakers. Fans call it another masterpiece, and it swept awards as possibly one of the best games ever made. It's not just a game, it's an emotional, edge-of-your-seat TV series where you are Ellie or Abby, and it absolutely delivers on story and spectacle. Tears of the Kingdom is Zelda's masterpiece for the ages. It takes Breath of the Wild's open world and supercharges it with mind-bending new toys. Now, Link can fuse random objects together. Why not attach a rocket to your shield? Fly and swim through skies and underground caves, and tackle puzzles that would make Einstein pause. Reviewers gave it universal acclaim, saying it equals or even betters its predecessor. Every corner of Hyrule feels alive. You could be floating on a sky island one moment, spelunking in glowing caverns the next. The story and characters, ancient evil rising again, hit that classic Zelda high note. Most of all, it's the sheer creativity that slaps. One minute you're commandeering a cube of ice and TNT as a makeshift vehicle, the next you're building a four-wheel tank from a deer and an arrow. It truly makes you feel like a kid discovering magic again, and it's easy to pour 100+ hours into it. In short, Tears of the Kingdom isn't just a game. It's the wildest, most imaginative playground Nintendo has ever built. Alan Wake 2 is Twin Peaks in video game form. Spooky, twisted, and wonderfully weird. You're split between Alan Wake, an 80s novel writer with a laser flashlight, and Saga, an FBI agent, both trapped in a nightmare that feels like Lynchian fever dream. NPR calls it scary, cerebral, and silly. Yeah, it's all three. You wander foggy forests, blood-dripping hotels, and even toy box fever dreams. Along the way, you'll face things like giant puppet monsters and writhing shadows. The gameplay mixes shooting shadow creatures with writing glowing runes on walls. The whole game treats writing like a magic power. Fans of story will eat this up. Every scene is layered with metafiction and creepy humor. And the production value's top-notch. It's polished to a mirror shine. One reviewer says all the Remedy jazz you want is in there. If you've dreamed of a horror game that's both an eerie TV series and an action shooter, Alan Wake 2 does that double duty brilliantly. Animal Crossing. New Horizons is basically the ultimate chill-out game of the lockdown era. Picture building your own island village from scratch, sitting with fox neighbors while cooking virtual pancakes at sunrise, or hosting a fish market with buddies over video chat. It sold nearly 48 million copies. Not surprising, since millions of folks needed that cozy life sim escape. There's nothing like randomly running into a zebra or kangaroo pal on your beach and giving them a handmade hat, or freaking out when tarantulas swarm your museum. The soundtrack, gentle guitar plucks, and slowly unfolding routine make it hypnotically soothing. Seriously, it was the perfect pandemic escape, a routine we all craved. You can even redecorate houses, fish in every imaginable pond, and literally talk to flowers. It's supremely wholesome and oddly addictive. In New Horizons, your most stressful decision might be, should I catch that exotic butterfly now or later? Baldur's Gate 3 is basically your D&D game unleashed by a wizard who crammed a million spells into every corner. Kotaku gushed, it's an embarrassment of riches for role-playing geeks. And they're right, you can make a character who's half squid, half spider, or a goblin necromancer, and it all just works. The story mashes up mind flayer parasites and party drama. Imagine a party with a devout but secretly racist cleric, a vampire rogue, and an ADHD wizard all stuck in a spaceship. Dialogue is super reactive too. One choice here makes the peasants revolt in a neighboring town, another lets you mind control a dragon just to watch it fly away. It feels like a living, breathing tabletop campaign. NPCs remember you. Quests evolve in crazy ways, and kamikaze pterodactyl rides, no joke, aren't off the table. In short, BG3 is the D&D Fantasia you've always dreamed of, in video game form. Cyberpunk 2077 is the neon-soaked thrill ride of Night City that we've always wanted, bugs and all. Sure, it launched with hiccups, but strip away the glitches and what's left is a vibrant open world with laser and guitar rock stars, flying cars, and an honest-to-God's rock god in your head. Keanu Reeves, Johnny Silverhand, popping off snarky quips every few minutes. Critics point out standout side quests and strong main characters, and they nailed it. You'll race a tricked-out sci-fi muscle car through pulsating neon districts. Night City is beautiful and vile. Some of the favorite sections were when I drove from one district to the next, radio turned up, and then duck into a dark alley to remix memories via brain dances. Think VR porn-turned-crime tool. The story hits like cyber noir pulp, and if you love plugging yourself with cyberware to become a muscle-bound ninja, there's plenty to experiment with. In the end, it's a futuristic action soap opera where you're the action hero whilst villain, and it actually lives up to the hype with its side missions and atmosphere. Deathloop is time loop kung fu chaos with a retro-futuristic twist. You play Colt, an assassin stuck in a single day that keeps restarting. Every mission is a puzzle. You need to kill 8 targets, the Visionaries, in one day to end the loop. Think Groundhog Day meets Hitman with a dash of 60s Bond swagger. As you replay the day over and over, you pick up new powers and weapons. Blink around corners, turn invisible, bounce bullets off walls. So by day 5, you're basically a superpowered killer machine. It even has one wild twist. Another player, or AI, can invade your game as an enemy assassin, making every shootout unpredictable. Critics loved its structure, praising the gameplay, story, and art direction as some of Arcane's best. Yes, even the jokey dialogue is top tier. Deathloop feels fresh because it lets you strategize every kill. Maybe you trap one bad guy in a blender while turning another into Swiss cheese. And that slick 60s soundtrack, it'll have you nodding your head even as your screen fills with bullets. It's just the right mix of brainy planning and full tilt action, making you chuckle when things go wrong, but always wanting just one more loop. Diablo 4 is dark and brooding action, RPG bliss for loot lovers. It's like Diablo 3's evil older brother. Back to dirt and dungeons, every monster oozes with gore and grit. Critics noted it's a glorious return to fetid, bloody obscenity. You'll wander ruined temples, acid-red swamps, and snowy peaks hunting demons and grabbing epic loot. And yes, that means crafting a cavalcade of devastating fireballs and sword flurries. For the first time, the world is open, huge sandbox of towns and wilds. So you also get roaming world boss fights and side quests. It keeps that Diablo itch scratching. You can't stop when a legendary sword drops after beating some demon champion. The story is broody, but in a cool way, filled with cults and betrayal. It even has horses now, so you can ride across that huge map of Sanctuary, which is wild. It's exactly what fans wanted. Fast combat, tons of monster guts flying everywhere, and the thrill of just one more dungeon every time you close the game. Imagine Dark Souls on a ginormous open world. That's Elden Ring. You're not just slogging through gloomy castles. You can summon a spectral horse, named Torrent, to gallop across rolling plains and dragon caves, dodging fireballs in midair. Combat still feels brutally rewarding, giant bosses exploding tentacles, but now you can ride and jump like never before. Weave through battlefields with a sword that shoots boomerangs or shields that zap magic. This game treats its weapons like toys from a mad wizard's closet. The graphics hit an all-time high too. Moody ruins under swirling skies, eerie forests full of secrets, even music rhythm game boss fights. Trust us, battling a glowing stag to a synth soundtrack is as wild as it sounds. Elden Ring feels like a fantasy epic unleashed. You're the hero who gets to explore it all at your own pace. Genshin Impact is like a free-to-play anime RPG on steroids. It looks like Breath of the Wild's cute cousin from Tokyo, colorful islands, majestic waterfalls, and giant mushrooms that sing. And yes, it's free with gacha pulls for characters. Critics praise its scope. Tons of quests, puzzles, and big story events across a huge world. MiHoYo keeps adding new regions so fast it's like an MMO update every few months. The art style is gorgeous. One reviewer says it has so many stunning nooks and crannies. And the monster designs? Creepy and cool, from saber cats to dragon spirits. It's also a cash machine. Over $3 billion on mobile by 2022. And fans gladly throw money at it for their favorite characters. And yes, I admit I did too. Combat is elementally chaotic. One run you're blasting enemies with pyro-sword swings. Next, you've summoned a tornado with a bow. In short, Genshin made weird anime world traveling mainstream. You wouldn't believe how many friends lost sleep trying to pull their waifu. In God of War Ragnarok, Kratos goes full Norse saga. It's old Daddy Kratos versus Thor and other Norse gods, all set in jaw-dropping frozen forests and volcanic caverns. The story and characters are next level. Atreus has grown into a talkative teen, and their banter and drama keep you hooked. Critics raved that it smashed BAFTA records, 14 nominations, and called it the one to beat. Every cutscene looks cinematic, with giants fighting or a Valkyrie boss that'll make you yell at your TV. And the combat? Legendary. You swing Leviathan axe that returns to your hand, headbash trolls, and block Mjolnir bolts with a magical shield. The world building is insane. Villages lit by northern lights, fiery dwarven forges, and it all feels brutal and beautiful at once. This is AA story action with heart. Even if you weren't into Norse myths, the sheer spectacle and tight gameplay will blow your socks off. Hogwarts Legacy is the dream of every Harry Potter fan. Everyone gets their Hogwarts letter, even you. This thing exploded so hard that it became the best-selling game of 2023. You create a witch or wizard in the late 1800s and wander a fully realized magic world. Tame dragons, brew potions on broom rides, duel creepy Death Eaters, and even learn Legend-era spells. Fans say it nails the open world. Hogwarts Legacy nailed the open world. The highlight is Hogwarts itself with key locations and characters. Combat is like casting Dark Souls with magic. Lock onto a giant troll and unleash arcane fireworks. And the detail is nuts. Painting your own house crest, keeping a pet phoenix in your dorm, or racing flying broom cars through the Forbidden Forest. If you ever wanted to live out your school days at Hogwarts, minus the exams, this delivers big time with fan service everywhere. Resident Evil Village is like horror mashup deluxe. It throws you into a creepy European village crawling with werewolves, vampires, and literal flesh golems. From Minute 1, it sets a tensive, dark fairy tale vibe. Imagine running from swarms of snarling wolfmen, then hiding in a farmhouse only to find porcelain dolls that come to life. The environments are freaky cool. A dilapidated village, a bloody wine cellar, and the giant castle of Lady Dimitrescu, who herself is a 10-foot vamp lady stalker. Game Informers called its level design superb, making it one of the scariest Resident Evil games to date. You scavenge shotguns and flamethrowers as you go, and often you'll find yourself trapped in claustrophobic halls with beasties on your tail. The pacing is killer. Just as you think you can relax, a hulking boss will stomp through the ceiling to ruin your day. By the end, credits, you'll have battled everything from a mutant baby to a dragon, and still want more. It's classic RE, part survival horror, part action roller coaster, and 100% guaranteed to make you jump. Rift Apart is basically Ratchet & Clank on rocket fuel, the most eye-popping PS5 game yet. You hop between dimensions mid-battle, literally smash through shimmering space portals with almost no loading time. The story is goofy fun. Our Lombax hero Ratchet and a newbie Lombax say hello to nasty robots and meet a feisty alternate dimension Clank named Rivet. The highlight is visuals. It was built to show off next-gen power. Reviews rave it, had to show what the PS5 is capable of, and it succeeds wonderfully. It all looks breathtaking, as if you've landed in an interactive animated film. Planets are candy-colored and dripping with detail. Palm trees sway, sun rays glint off laser guns, and enemies explode into sparkles and confetti bombs. The weapons are pure Ratchet insanity. There's a zapper pistol that makes monkeys sneeze bombs, and a yo-yo chain that slices bad guys in midair. It's packed full of silliness and speed. You can literally zoom around on a hoverboard that looks like a hot dog cart at one point. In short, Rift Apart is the kind of bright, bubbly blockbuster that makes you grin ear to ear, shouting, "This is insane," as explosions light up the screen. Resident Evil Village is like horror mashup deluxe. It throws you into a creepy European village crawling with werewolves, vampires, and literal flesh golems. From Minute 1, it sets a tensive, dark fairy tale vibe. Imagine running from swarms of snarling wolfmen, then hiding in a farmhouse only to find porcelain dolls that come to life. The environments are freaky cool. A dilapidated village, a bloody wine cellar, and the giant castle of Lady Dimitrescu, who herself is a 10-foot vamp lady stalker. Game Informers called its level design superb, making it one of the scariest Resident Evil games to date. You scavenge shotguns and flamethrowers as you go, and often you'll find yourself trapped in claustrophobic halls with beasties on your tail. The pacing is killer. Just as you think you can relax, a hulking boss will stomp through the ceiling to ruin your day. By the end, credits, you'll have battled everything from a mutant baby to a dragon, and still want more. It's classic RE, part survival horror, part action roller coaster, and 100% guaranteed to make you jump. Returnal is a roguelike bullet hell sci-fi actioner that will fry your brain. In a good way. You're Celine, a space pilot stuck in a time loop on an alien nightmare world. Every time you die, you wake up at your crashed ship, but the world shifts each run. Enemies are swarming, tentacle demons, laser-wielding beetles, and arachnid mechs. One minute, you're tearing through a hall of screaming mutants, and the next, you're dodging a swarm of orbital orbs in zero-G. PlayStation Lifestyle calls it a sci-fi bullet hell third-person shooter roguelike. Accurate. The DualSense haptics makes every step rumble and trigger pulls throb with feedback. It looks gorgeous, too. Lush alien jungles with neon rivers and bioluminescent flora. But be warned, Returnal is hard. You'll die a lot, and I mean a lot, but each loop unlocks new guns and secrets, making you itch to try just one more run. It's like Dark Souls meets Hades in space, where every boss fight is intense chaos. Once it grabs you, it doesn't let go, and you'll be shouting, "OMG, I got this," at your screen after finally blasting that colony-wide beast. On the surface, Splatoon 3 looks like a super cute ink splat paintball party, and it is. But wait until you hit the campaign. Underneath that neon gloop is a post-apocalyptic world where humans are gone and mutated creatures rule. You play as an inkling kid with a squid form and splatter enemies and each other with ink guns and rollers. Multiplayer turf wars are a riot. Picture covering a whole stage in your team's neon color while dodging squid jumps and ink bombs. But the single-player story has you battling a giant fried chicken bear monster in space. Seriously. And it's bonkers in the best way. Reviewers loved its style. Nintendo took a generic shooter genre and gave it a zany twist. Its levels and weapons are packed with charm. One weapon turns into a giant vacuum, another shoots pillows. Ultimately, Splatoon 3 is proof that shooters need more imagination. It's adorable, hilarious, and when an octoling teenager hip-hop dances past you mid-shootout, you'll think, only on Nintendo. Forza Horizon 5 is a fiesta of fast cars across an all-open-world Mexico. It's racing on vacation. One minute you're drifting donuts in a dusty pueblo, the next you're speeding through a hurricane, then suddenly racing out of an exploding volcano's crater. Game Informer calls it One of the best, most expansive racing games they've ever played. The setting is jaw-dropping. True-to-life towns and biomes with dynamic weather, dust storms in the desert, torrential rains in the jungle. The car list is insane. Classics, supercars, even rally cars, and every vehicle feels weighty and unique. Best of all, the liberty. You can hop into a free roam race against AI in a cactus field, or join thousands of players online to do tricks and stunts together. Basically, FH5 turns driving into a sandbox sport. Throw in a catchy Latin-inspired soundtrack and radio chatter, and you've got a game that makes you feel the joy of speed. If you're a gearhead, this is literally heaven. And there you have it. 20 games that didn't just raise the bar, they yeeted it into another dimension. Some made us laugh, some made us cry. One probably gave us an existential crisis somewhere around hour 12. But hey, that's the beauty of gaming, right? It's not just about pressing buttons. It's about the holy crap did that just happen? Moments we never forget. So now I've got to ask, which one blew your mind the most? Was it the one with the talking cat in a cyberpunk slum? The Norse god-slaying dad with anger issues? Or maybe it was the one where you fused a stick to a banana and called it a weapon? Looking at you, Zelda. Drop your pick in the comments. And don't be shy, tell me if I missed your personal favorite. I'm always down to be mind blown all over again. If this list made you want a game harder than ever, hit that like button like it owes you loot, and maybe consider subscribing so we can geek out over more epic games together. Alright, that's it from me. Go touch grass, or pretend to while exploring digital forest with ray tracing. Catch you in the next one. Legends, peace.